Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and we're going to be doing a 3v3 multiplayer battle here, a crusade in the deserts of Nehakara. Going to be very sweet. So Bretonnia is pushing forward, and of course the enemy is going to be the Tomb Kings. We can see all of our crusaders here pouring ahead, and this map is pretty sweet. It has 3 giant pyramids that dominate the landscape. Unfortunately, you can't come up and stand over them. That would be too cool to be able to deploy peasant bowmen and trebuchets up here, but you can't fly. You can, fly your obviously flying units up on top and appreciate the sights. Here we see the Grail Relique, or Relique, however you want to pronounce it. I believe in the game they do say Grail Relique, so who knows. But anyway, I also love its animation. Literally trotting forward, those guys trying to spend as little time barefooted on the hot sand as possible. They're going to try and pick up the pace. That is the real blessing of the lady is here. Not to feel the burning sand against your toes. So yeah, our forces are going to be pushing up. We have 2 main armies forging ahead on this flank, and another army slowly making its way around this front. Hero is going to be pushing ahead past some of the giant Egyptian or Nehakaran colonnades here. And these are truly massive. You can appreciate the size when one of our heroes... Oh, looks like she's going to turn around and run through the column. Oh, you could hide in here. Pretty dope. But anyways, so that's what's happening there. The enemy, let's go ahead and take a look at them. They have 2 chariots, and that's about it for their force. Oh, that's actually really cool. Look in the distance. You can see our flyers dominating the top. The enemy is going to pour ahead with their early scouts, but here's the main force. Every single army here led by Hero Titan, which a ton of magic definitely at their disposal. Lore of Life, or Light, and Lore of Death, so they can spirit leech the hell out of a lot of our units. So we got to be careful about that. But in the front, you have a ton of these bone giants moving forward, and these guys are going to start notching their arrows. And they're going to fire away. And what I'm doing up front is just moving forward with some mounted yeomen and just try and start to bait out arrows. It's at this point that the enemy is... Well, they should start thinking about maybe turning off fire at will, because here I'm kiting a lot of free shots for no benefit. And so in the chat, Indie Pride, who's on the other side, he was triggered. Let's face it, guys, he was hella triggered. And he was telling his ally to turn off fire at will. His ally was not willing to do it. And so I'm just going to be running around these forces, baiting out a lot of shots. And then finally I'm going to turn about and charge these skeleton chariots. The reason I'm willing to do that is because I have 2 Grail Guardians coming in for close support. And knowing that these chariots are going to go ahead and try and pull out. And so when you're running away from mounted yeomen, you know, that's a disgrace. So these guys are earning their spurs in this engagement. And they're going to run the enemy down, chase them all the way back to their battle lines. Here the supporting fire also continues to get baited. The shot's now going to be hitting in and amongst my Grail Guardians. I do want to see a bit of our army pushing forward. The Crusade here in the shadow of the pyramids. That's pretty cool. Lots of battle pilgrims, a huge array of troops on this front in particular. This is so cool. And again, the Grail Relique, trotting along. Trebuchet is moving forward. The right flank is also now going to push up. Let's get some cinematic shots of the Crusaders in the shadow of the pyramids. And this is some straight up Warhammer fantasy setting. Right here in the pyramids, a crusade against undead warriors in the desert. So freaking cool. So yeah, everything's going to start to come to a head. Everyone's pouring into the center, where I'm continuing to have my shenanigans. I've lost 1 Grail Knight here, and a net gets cast against my Grail Knights. So that is going to be the enemy Hero Titans starting to cast some abilities on us. And now the enemy is going to decide, hey, they've caught me. They're going to start firing away with their Bone Titans Nets being popped on my forces as I try and reinforce. But the army here draws near. Nets are getting cast everywhere. I'm just causing all kinds of shenanigans with my forces. I had previously charged in and tried to knock out some of these tomb guards. I'm going to get another strike against them, so I'm doing everything to be a nuisance here in the early game. But inevitably, the army of the dead here is going to see me off. But that charge from the yeoman did buy me enough time to run back to safety. Both of my Royal Guardians getting out pretty much unscathed. Well, I say that, and they've lost a decent amount of health for no kills, but that's okay. I just wanted to mess around in the early game. And what have they done so far? Chunk of health on the chariots, chunk of health on some of the infantry, and for not much gain. And at this point, yet another net gets baited out. So if anything, I'm just going to start wasting the enemy's mana, which is going to be important because otherwise they could use it on spirit leeches and things of that nature. But then again, they are getting pretty good use out of this when they can snipe at my Grail Guardians. Let's watch these bowmen fire away. These are by far my favorite units. Just so freaking cool. But now our forces are starting to move up into position. We're going to have our battle lines ready. And this is the field where we're going to face off against the enemy. I do have one kind of hidden unit, and that is going to be the Green Knight that I've brought to the battlefield. We were talking about earlier in the game that, hey, he can get Spirit Leech pretty easily and destroyed. And so that's why I'm keeping him hidden, and that's why I'm doing so much to try and bait out enemy spells, wear out their reserves, and hopefully by the end game I can reveal the Green Knight and he'll be super effective. My force over here is now going to start to be targeted by the enemy troops, and it looks like they're firing right into my Grail Relic. Whoa, here comes the big one. That's my bowman, and now I'm going to spread out, and these guys are going to trot away out of position. There's another shot coming in. Boom, and it hits right right at the foot of Albric. Yeah, this is epic as hell. Again, more nets being baited here. I do get a nice little charge off against some of his early troops. I wanted to hit his slaves, just weaken up the front. But my guys, Grail Guardians, are taking a fucking hell of a beating. Chariots get in, but my units get out of there quickly enough. But the Scarabs are going to chase after here at full speed. And I'm going to use we're going to use the opportunity here to shoot back with my bows. Going to charge back into the pursuing forces to try and buy more time for our main line. So here I charge back in, just wanted to hit these tomb swarms, but this entire army of Tomb Kings is going to be the first to engage, and they're going to be coming up against our battle pilgrims, which are lining up. I'm going to pull out of here. And the Grail Guardians here, oh my god, 116 kills, although most of that is against Tomb Swarm, I believe? Not quite sure. This one had 114 as well. 116 here, so yeah, lots of kills, mostly, like I said, against this Tomb Swarm. But it's good. I just need to soften up the enemy force, and now we can focus fire against the enemy. We have a Blessed Field Trebuchet that's also going to be firing against the Hero Titan. So we'll see as this gets off, and we have a sick, nasty flank prepared for the enemy on this front. So death and destruction happen on both sides. God, that's a freaking cool shot as the Crusaders move into position. These guys are like third-party witnesses to the chaos that's going to happen. Here comes the counter charge. The undead making their way into the fight. Mummies in the mix. And then forces in the middle having to deal with bugs. And I wonder what the animation here is. Looks super ridiculous, spinning around against these spiders. They're really arachnophobic. Tons of flyers going to be trying to get in against the Hero Titan. And just as we're about to charge into him, boom, he's going to call to the heavens and cast a net on our forces. I believe that would be the logical spell to cast here. Oh no, looks like he's going to be using Spirit Leech, and oh my god, Luon is losing so many forces here. I mean, so much health. I get 2 units, these Grail Guardians still marauding against the enemy, smacking these guys around, and we brought them down to pretty low health, gaining a nice surround strike here. So we're trying to relieve our main line, and it's holding out fairly well, to be honest. I do have some peasant bowmen who are trying to fire away at these skeleton chariots. I figured they could do a fair amount of damage to us, but at the same time, I'm starting to lose some of my peasants, and these guys are pretty key, actually. I needed to save them, and our whole army needed more ranged units to just fire away and pick away at these hero titans. But anyways, the main engagement is going to take place, one here taking place at the crux between the pyramids. And we're just facing off, and man, look at the huge numbers as the undead are going to charge forward. Main fight's going to take place in the center with the battle pilgrims taking the meat of this, fighting against these slaves. Swordsmen getting in the flank, but it's fine. That's what the battle pilgrims are here for, is to tank it out and buy us more time. In this front, 2 hero titans are engaged. One is sitting in the back, and this one's going to try and pull out while he still has some health on him, and our main line is going to hold fairly strong. Although on this front, this is a really bad use of questing knights and knights errant. They're against halberds. With more halberd reinforcements coming in, this is going to get smashed pretty quickly. Meanwhile, my own Grail Guardians, who have charged into the rear, are at 128. The other one has 140, so getting a lot of work done in the enemy rear lines. But I am also getting stuck up against halberds, so I'm going to try and pull them through and out in that engagement. In the center, I've pulled up my Green Knight, figuring that I've wasted a lot of the enemy's spells. The action's going to be hot and heavy here. Men-at-Arms, but the Grail Relic is going to help stay the line. And we've beaten back the enemy slaves, but more units are coming in. Battle Pilgrims are holding somewhat strong, and I did throw away the last of my mounted yeomen, trying to beat back these Tomb Guards. Main fight is happening over here, with tons of guys just pouring into our Men-at-Arms. Yes, they're vetted up, but we really need some foot squires to hold back the enemy. They're actually pretty strong infantry. I mean, when you compare them to Bretonnian footmen, at least. I'm going to get a sick charge. Just throw those guys, send them flying. So I'm doing everything I can to exploit these little gaps in the enemy, save my troops. I pulled back my men-at-arms, split my swordsmen on either flank, and then now I'm going to be able to charge back in and plug the gap. Meanwhile, these Grail Guardians are going to try and hammer and anvil the enemy. Chariots are going to come after me, and I'm going to pull out of this engagement. I'm not quite sure what I want to hit here. Looks like I'm going to go after these Tomb Guards and try and free up my Battle Pilgrims. That's going to even the odds in a significant way. Meanwhile, the Green Knight is also in the mix. I'm trying to save my infantry in the key flank positions. I'm a little scared to get too close to the Hero Titans because of the Spirit Leech abilities that they can pop. But he's going to be doing work here to help stabilize this flank. My Grail Knight's doing lots of damage on this front, and this side is holding okay. We're definitely going to have to bring in reinforcements. But I wanted to show off a double Knights Errant charge that's going to be coming into this big blob that's happening here. And the reason I wanted to do this is, yes, it's halberds, but I figured I needed to come in here and even the tide and the odds a little bit. And we get a monstrous charge off here. Yes, the enemy is going to pick themselves back up, but this did a really good job, I believe, of trying to turn the tide a little bit. But the Hero Titan is going to answer in kind, respawn, and beat our forces back. I'm going to disengage immediately from that fight. I did the blow that I needed, and I'm going to pull back because this is a lot of damage that can start coming in. The center is starting to crumble somewhat. Alberic is in here trying to beat back the mummies. But now 2 Bone Giant Archers, having used all their ammo, are going to get in here and start to pummel my guy. And the Grail Relic's going to look up and say, "Ruh-roh." Over here, the Green Knight's doing good work, fighting strongly amongst the peasants who are pretty well received. I mean, they have a Grail Relic, in behind them, plus the Green Knight. These guys are going to hold for a long time. On this front, our forces have started to cave. Most of this, you know, the big gaping hole in our line, yeah, you can blame that on the Hero Titan. These guys are doing a lot of work. Don't have too much to beat them back. Like I said, had we had more archers and had these archers, for instance, been paying attention, they could have probably started to do more damage to him. But anyways, over here, I'm charging around with my battle pilgrims and some Grail Knights also helping out. But it's these big, beefy units that are going to be scary to deal with. And in the center, we have these halberd units that we somehow need to beat back. I'm going to try and commit some infantry, and this is not a good target for cavalry. But now our entire left flank has been demolished. This was the engagement that was pretty much lost by the cav and not much support. Battle pilgrims going down. Yeah, a lot of death there. The enemy really tanking it out with some of their more elite forces that were there. Some tomb guards, skeleton warriors, but mostly the hero titans that are going unopposed. Over here, my ally is going to allow himself, unfortunately, to get charged by halberds. Ooh, yikes, this is a really bad engagement for us. And yeah, luckily we're going to pull out of that fight. And then we're going to have to tactically use our forces. King Luon pulls out of this fight, and yeah, we're really having to evacuate all this. I do have the Green Knight who's at really strong health, and he's going to try and go after the enemy Hero Titan. But now our forces are both split. And I'm going to try and snipe the enemy, but they know what I'm up to. They're going to try and see him off. And actually, we missed this earlier on. And what I was able to do is, you see this line of death here. I was able to pull my Green Knight over to this flank. Or sorry, no, this was Albrecht earlier in the fight. And cast his Spell of Manon right up against the flank of the enemy. It's the big wave spell, and that did a fair amount of damage. Unfortunately, we did miss that earlier on. And yeah, the enemy being very slippery, not letting me kill them. And they're going to recommit this high health Hero Titan to try and see him off. Over here, the enemy's slowly grinding away at our troops. I mean, you get multiple bone giants in here, and yeah, the Grail Guardians can maybe start doing some damage, but unlikely that they'll be able to turn the tide. So this errant war, this crusade, not looking like it's going to go our way. But still, some knights now in the open plain have a little bit of free reign, and they're going to be trying to clean up some of the exposed enemy units. These tomb guards, boom, field goal right there. Got to get some nice cleanup shots. And yeah, now we can disengage and start to get some more cost-efficient trades, but it's the big blobs that worry me. The Hero Titan here smashing an entire force of men-at-arms in one blow. God, that's freaking scary. And Albrecht of Bordelot here tried to engage with these tomb guards, but he was seen off. That was pretty bad for me. I'm going to try and even the odds by doing a cavalry charge. Definitely not cost-effective, but we ran these guys over. It's doing a lot of health damage, but now as they start to get up, it's not going to be good for our guys. Back in the center, our lords are still at pretty good health. And we're isolating these little clusters of forces. My Green Knight also here. Having a hard time dispatching these mummies, though. So he's going to pull out. Try and seek a better engagement. Over here, isolating some tomb guards. Killing them. But the remainder of this force has gotten away. And a completely botched Comet of Cassandora here. Would have wished it had hit some of the enemy earlier on when they were all blobbed up. I don't know why that wasn't used over here. Could have done a lot of death and damage, but alas, we just didn't get that. Albrecht here comes back, and I think this is the point where I'm trying to get his spell off. Look at this cluster of troops. Boom! That wave, though. Jesus Christ. Most of the enemy is going to get up, but man, that was a money shot if I've ever seen one. Pop some abilities, keep our guys going. We're going to fight the good fight. This blob swarms another tomb guard, but man, they're bracing really well. Now they're finally dropping in health, but I think they're going to be able to see off at least one of my Grail Guardians. And slowly, these giants are carving their way through our front ranks. More men-at-arms, polearms, and whatnot, trying to hold strong, and even some bugs still alive. Those are funny units. Yeah, our field trebuchets, the blessed field trebuchet, is actually doing a pretty good job impacting this blob. A lot of damage done here. Sort of Quran, really keeping them at low efficiency, and they're all, you know, on the... Yeah, debilitating, crumbling. Yeah, these guys, a lot of these units are actually going to be seen off. And, ooh, King Luon's going to go after this Hero Titan. Knocking another one of these giant units off the battlefield will be a huge boon to us. See if we can even catch up with him. A healthy Hero Titan looks like he's going to try and suppress. Oh, God. He's going to get swarmed by the remainder of these units. Yep, time to get out of here, Luon. And the Green Knight's going to come in to try and save him. Oh, and the Hero Titan over here is seen off by some peasants who have reformed. So yeah, the remainder of our crusade is going to try and rally, but it's not looking too good. A huge force over here, still strong, a lot of halberds. We're crushing the exposed elements with Grail Guardians and this cavalry blob that we have here, plus a Grail Reliquae. But yeah, alas, it's not looking very good. Although we do isolate another Hero Titan, so perhaps at this point we can get a mass rout now that these guys, or not a rout, sorry, a mass crumbling. Oh God, but just as I say that, 2 units in the back. Oh shit, and he's getting triple teamed. This is not looking good for Luon, and he, oh God. This turned so quickly. And there he goes. He dies. I believe that was a Spirit Leech combined with multiple jumping skeletons. That'll do it for you. Green Knight overlooking the battlefield. The peasants here going to turn their backs on him. This crusade is not looking good. Pretty much over for him. And yeah, that's about it. The enemy blob is getting all the way up to our main lines. Only the trebuchet is left standing. Lots of high health Hero Titans and Bone Giants. God, this is bad, bad, bad. But it's not gonna, prevent us from trying to get a little bit of kills here in the end. Green Knight gonna come after these guards of Cetra, and these dudes seemingly do not take any damage. 180 weapon strength? Holy crap, that's crazy. They can do a lot of damage to my Green Knight, and he is just not putting any damage in at these guys. I mean, they're at 293, 295, 297. Yeah. They're gonna take forever to kill. Meanwhile, that's gonna buy time for the enemy to come back in, and jeez. Freaking scary. I believe these guys, oh God, they're even regenerating. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, so hard to kill. We really needed some more archers and other units. Yeah, look at these guys. The guards of Cetra, they're back up to full HP, and I don't even know if I could take these forces out in a 1v1. And there goes the shattering of Bretonia. Everything, I believe, is gone. The last remaining elements are on this side, but boom, chain route here. Get some parting shots. This was a glorious attempt, but a terrible end for our force. We're going to sink below the sands. And here's the Green Knight. Might as well just follow him around the battlefield, see what he's up to. He's being chased by some bugs here, and he is very scared of them. That's the one thing ghosts are known to be scared of, and that is spiders. It's going to turn about and give him a big smackdown, though. Boom. Now I have 2 adversaries slowly coming up against me, and I don't even think I can get one attack off. I try and do one strike there, boom, get kicked back, and yikes. Let's see what the health is on this Bone Giant. Dropping fairly quickly, and these units here did collapse. So we're getting some critical binding on some of the enemy. Yeah, but the guards of Cetra, my biggest opponents, are coming back into the fight, and it looks like everything is now going to start to just watch. This is kind of creepy. You have a giant skeletal lord, hero watching over the Green Knight, multiple giants just all toying with him. He's got nowhere to go, and they're just going to 1v1 him. Perhaps with the favor of Cetra. And yeah, that's about it. And my main opponents, oh God, now everyone's going to pile in. No more honor, no more glory, everything's going to come in. And this is when I decide, oh shit, this is not looking good. Actually, let's get a nice cinematic shot of this. The pursuit. And this archer definitely has a couple arrows in his quiver. It's at this point where you notch those and you just fire straight into this Green Knight. Make this bloody butt even bloodier. And here comes the pain. And watch my Green Knight. I don't even think he's going to be able to get one attack off. Boom, he hits once, and then he's going to get kicked about. And yeah, this is not looking good. Oh my god. This is so freaking brutal. Look at all these giants. Oh my god. Oh, they body slam the Green Knight, and he has seen better days, that's for sure. I can't wait for the eventual release of an official Tomb Kings for us. I mean, I'm sure we're going to see the Bone Giants, but some of their heroes are going to be freaking epic. I can't wait to see some of that. And I do hope they come up with some of the bug swarms or the tomb swarms. Those guys are really fun. I do expect to see them with custom animations and maybe some more abilities. But so far, I do have to say the roster for the Tomb Kings looks pretty fun. It's been sweet to play on. Although we did notice, as a word of warning to any of those of you who want to host a game, we found that you had to host all the players in the lobby in order to join the multiplayer battle. Had to have both the mod of the units of the Tomb Kings, but then also the pyramids as well. So I don't know, I've never seen that really with mods before. That's just a word of warning. If you want to play on this map with Tomb Kings, everyone has to have it loaded. But I think in general for other maps, if it's like a standard map, it's okay. Just one player has to have the map. But in that case, then yes, everyone does have to have the Tomb Kings because it doesn't automatically load factions. Anyways, that's it for the battle. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the final stats and kills here. Let's start with Ryu. He got a lot of kills on these Grail Knights. Fair amount of damage. Infantry line for Bretonnia. I think we brought way too many infantry. And yeah, they didn't do super well. Benny also kind of a sad story for his infantry. Also, although some of the Battle Pilgrims, holy shit, 226, take that back. These guys cleaned up, and also the Blessed Field Trebuchet doing work. My own forces here doing okay. Bowmen here were just wasted. Used up too early in the fight. I think I should have kept them in reserve instead of trying to snipe at chariots. They should have stayed back, and they could have done work against the enemy bone giants at the end of the fight. Green Knight getting a fair amount of kills. Could have done more, but I was really scared of those spirit leeches. And Grail Guardians, 195 and 155, doing a good job. And let's see on the other side. Goldfish here. Yeah, they're Hero Titans. Let's just flip through. They got money. 146, 125, 141. Definitely paying for themselves. Oh my god, he brought so much Tomb Swarm. 6 of those. I mean, they're dirt cheap. So yeah, they're just entertaining. Halberds getting a lot of kills. Most of this being done against our Grail Knights and Grail Guardians and elite units. So these guys probably paid for themselves. Bone Giant Archers actually doing pretty good. Most of the damage being done once they got into melee combat. The range shots for those guys not super good. Guards of Cetra, I mean, they were there to the end and were at pretty much full strength. Definitely seemed like they're worthwhile. Nick over here, Halberds getting lots of experience. Tomb Guards getting lots of kills. He seems like he did a good job. And these chariots, thankfully, didn't get that much done. I think it was because of the early charge and damage and bow shots. Bow fire that I put on them. At least I was able to diminish their effectiveness. And then finally, Indy here at the end. Bone Giant Archers, a fair amount of kills. The Ushbadi getting decent amount of kills. But again, almost all the damage being tanked out by the Hero Titan. We really needed a way to answer that. And I think that would have had to have been perhaps mass archers on our side or more Blessed Field Trebuchets. Yeah, I mean, look at these trebuchets. 209 and Ryu's 158. Yeah, those guys could have afforded more of those, I think. But anyways, that's it for this battle. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more, and definitely check out this mod if you can. Also, check out my Facebook page where I link to military history content, preview new stuff that I'm in, I've been working on, and yeah, it's just an overall sweet place to be. So check that out as well. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.